What's up? I hope all is well. The reason I chuckle is because this is the second time I'm recording this video. It turns out when I went into editing, the first video, the audio was corrupt. So here we are again, filming this one more time. Let's hope it's better than the first. Let's hope you can actually hear me. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jorge or George. I'm happy you're here because I love all things home decor. I love DIYing things. I love thrifting. I love just like seeking inspiration from all sorts of places and just like decorating my house, redecorating my house. It's an obsession. Can't stop, won't stop. You probably are the same. You are looking to really elevate the feeling of your home. And I have a list here that I'm always adding on to. Let's see how much we can get through. But before I get into it, I just want to say that now I do have a background a little bit in architecture design and also worked in like high-end interior retail or whatever you call it. But over the years, one thing that I have learned is that, at least for me, home should be a feeling. It should really kind of just find a right balance between being aesthetically pleasing, because I know that's what we want. We want a beautiful house, but at the same time, it should be functional. It should be practical. It should accommodate the people that are living in it. Anyways, I don't want to ramble on too much. I have lots to cover, so let's just jump right in. The first hack, well, these are more tips I would say. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, but the first tip that I have for you is to use natural materials. Now I know this might be an obvious one, but I'm talking about things like using real wood, linens, cotton, those sorts of textiles. Also stone. Stone is sourced from nature. And I think this is way better than using synthetic things like plastics, basically, is what everything else is made out of. Plastics that are meant to imitate the real thing. And this could be a whole like conversation and video, but I will say that in architecture school, I took a course called Biophilic Design. And if you're not familiar with it, it seeks to sort of understand our human obsession or fascination to nature and how we bring that into the built environment. So I'm talking about things that are not just like homes, but just buildings in general, offices, all sorts of spaces. We bring nature inside because to remind us of nature. So we bring plants indoors. A lot of people are plant lovers like myself, even though I can't always keep them alive, but you know, I try. If you celebrate Christmas, you probably bring a Christmas tree indoors. I mean, there's a lot of ramifications to it this, but at the end of the day, these sorts of things makes us feel good. So how do we incorporate that into our house? So when you select flooring, if you can, select real flooring, like hardwood flooring or just wood flooring. If you are looking for a countertop, use the real deal, use stone. And by the way, there are more things out there than just marble, just saying. It can be as simple as the textiles that you use on your sofa. Maybe you can get a nice throw pillow, maybe the material that your sofa is actually made of. You know, I think you get the point of what I'm trying to say here. And it doesn't necessarily need to be an item sourced from nature. It can be something that reminds you of nature. It could be a simple thing as a color. It could be some artwork, maybe artwork that maybe you're putting together a gallery wall of the photos that you've taken on your hikes or something like that. Those kind of things that connect you to nature, okay? The next thing that I think can really elevate the feeling of your home is to clean up the mess. Now, I'm guilty of this, don't worry. In fact, I'm a slob sometimes, and you do not want to see what's in front of me. You would be surprised. A clean home, a tidy home is beautiful. There's nothing like it, and it feels nice to have a clean house. But I understand that that's not always the case, because a home is functional, it's livable, it's gonna get messy. That's okay. Now, if you're a messy person, or maybe you have some family members that are not the tidiest, one thing that can help is to make it clear that everything has a designated space to be put away. This will help everyone at the end of the day put things away. And if you have a whole bunch of stuff stacked somewhere that you don't know what to put, chances are you have things that you need to get rid of. Maybe that's just the minimalist of me, but I'm always getting rid of things. And while we're on the subject, I do want to talk about things that are given to us. Oftentimes things are gifted to us, passed down to us. You don't necessarily have to keep those items if you do not like them. And there's a whole bunch of books on this and, you know, psychological things on this. I'm not a pro here, but what I will say is that you can keep on to that sentimental value without keeping the physical object. Something that I have learned in my younger years. I'm still young, but you know what I'm talking about. And just take a weekend, take a day, tell everyone in your house, hey, go to your room, find something that you don't want, a couple things that you don't want to, donate them, sell them, get rid of things. In today's day and age, we're always buying things, we're always consuming things, the latest this, the latest that. I keep rambling on too much. Am I rambling on too much? Let me know and I can make this a lot shorter. There is nothing quite like some good hand soap. I know, super random, but do you ever go to a nice restaurant, maybe somebody's house, you go into their bathroom and you see a lovely bottle of hand soap on the counter, you use it and it feels really nice on your hands? Do it. Get yourself that bougie bottle of hand soap because I think that really elevates the feeling, that ritual of washing one's hands. And of course, it looks beautiful in a bathroom. When we look at lots of interior design spaces, you probably see this one right here, Aesop. You probably have tried it before. This is my favorite right now. No, this is not sponsored, but I love this one not only for the beautiful bottle, but the actual soap feels really nice on the hands. They use a lot of essential oils. I think this one has mandarin, rosemary, cedar. Regardless of what soap that you go for, I will link it below too. I really recommend this one. But regardless of what soap that you go for, make sure that the bottle is nice, that the soap is nice. And even if it's expensive, you can always refill it maybe with some cheaper soap. Put in a couple drops of essential oils, call it a day. I won't tell anybody, don't worry. But do it, get yourself some nice hand soap. Next up on the list is to not display your technology. Now this one's kind of interesting because technology of course is always changing and it can really outdate your space if it's out in the open and if you have something kind of old. So my tip for you is to put it away, hide it if you can. Now I think televisions are kind of interesting too because televisions are out in the open, they're meant to be watched, and unless you have a Samsung frame TV or it's hidden in a cabinet or something, it's going to be out. And if you have an old bulky television, even if it's a flat screen, because you know those older ones have like this like really thick border or frame around it, they just look heavy and that will outdate your space. So if you can, get rid of that television or put it somewhere else. Get a newer TV because they definitely have gotten very affordable relatively to when they first came out. That slim profile is going to look a lot better than that old bulky outdated one. But if you can, put your technology away. Another example are like smart speakers. I have a couple throughout my house, but I hide them behind vases and lamps. So yes, you might see me talking to vases and lamps, but I'm not crazy. There's a smart speaker back there that I talk to. You know, I think you get the idea, all right? Ooh, this one is really good, and that is to accept slow design. And I'm sometimes impatient and I kind of want things now, I want things quickly, but good design oftentimes comes with time, and unless you hire an interior designer, and even then that takes some time, putting together a nice room takes time. Sourcing the right pieces, coming up with some good ideas, selecting the materials, the colors, all of that, it takes some time. And in today's day and age, so much influence out there, you know, through influencers, Pinterest, Instagram, catalogs, all sorts of great interiors out there. It can be so easy to get distracted and it's like, oh wow, look at that, that's so beautiful, new trend coming in, I want to do that in my space. And I have fallen in the trap of really kind of just like buying a whole bunch of things, and then it's like, okay, well now how do I put it together and make it look nice? It's hard. So my recommendation for you, if you're the type of person that you have a room that you really want to get it to this place that you want it to, but you don't know where to go about it, I hope I'm explaining this right, but figure out a game plan. Put together a mood board of the things that you love, make a list, gather some inspirational images, and kind of just put together a game plan of what it is that you want into your space, your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen, whatever. Don't worry about budget yet, kind of just put it together and then go about it and execute it with time. So if there's something out there that you really like but it costs a lot, it might take some time to source it for a more affordable price, maybe secondhand or sales or whatever. But follow through with that game plan that you have for your space. Once that is complete, then you can start incorporating the trends that you love or start refining it, or just because spaces evolve, you can change it for sure. But follow through on your game plan and get that space how you want it, and then just go from there. I mean, I can go more about that. I feel like that's again another video in itself, but that's my tip for you, is to accept slow design. Good design comes with time, and it can come faster too. That's just one That's just one way, okay? Oh, the neighbor is mowing the lawn. That's nice. Next up, let's opt for some real branches or florals. If you've been following my channel for some time, you know that I love using real branches. I love them. Right now, I currently have these dried eucalyptus. I think they're probably dyed in red or something. They smell fantastic and they're very affordable. I will link them down below. But I love using the real thing if I can because there's nothing like it. And maybe it's going back to that biophilic design, sort of that connection to nature that makes us feel good. I love it. And you know, lots of interiors are using branches these days. Hop on board if you haven't already. Try it out. I really like getting some from my backyard, but you can get some from grocery stores, your farmers markets. Comment down below. Let me know where you get your fresh florals from. You can, of course, do flowers, but I think that's, again, a really good way to freshen up your space, make it feel a little bit more cozy, and I think it's one of those like final touches that kind of elevates the feeling of your space. While we're on the subject of final touches, there are certain decor pieces out there that I think can really elevate the feeling of a space by making it feel complete, or maybe adding some interest, or kind of just like playing with scale. And one of those things are milking stools. I love milking stools. They're so cute. If you haven't heard of them, basically they're these short little stools, oftentimes like a foot tall. They're very short. They were used by milkmaids back in the day to milk cows. These stools are oftentimes 3 or 4 legged. And I don't know, you can put them anywhere. You can put them in a bedroom, you can put them in the living room, maybe that awkward corner that you don't know what to do with. I think they're cute. Definitely check them out. I actually did a search and found 12 stools under $100. Some of them sold by small shops, and some of them are like authentic, like real old, vintage, antique, whatever. They look fantastic. I will link them below if you want to check them out, but they're cute. And the final tip that I have for you is to pay attention to scale. Scale is very important in interior design. We want to make sure that everything has the right proportion for the space that it is in. So the most common thing probably, or one of the most common things would be a rug. You want to get a nice rug that fills the space, that grounds the space, especially if you have a large room, or even if you have a smaller room, you can get a large rug. For example, the living room, you want to make sure that the furniture is on the rug, or at least the front feet of like the sofa, and the side tables and all that. Make sure that they're on the rug. It kind of helps group things together and define a space. Another example is artwork. You want to make sure that you have the right artwork. You can get large artwork, you can get small artwork, but make sure that you pay attention to how it looks in proportion to like the space that is in the furniture that is above, the decor pieces that you use. And especially if you have like a very large house, maybe tall ceilings, if you buy a whole bunch of decor that is kind of smaller, it's going to throw off the scale and it's going to look really weird. So really pay attention to scale. And if something looks off, chances are it might be the wrong size. So try something larger, try something smaller. But that's just kind of more generic. Alright, so those are just some of the tips that I have for you to kind of elevate the feeling of your home. I hope that maybe you took something away from this video or just sparked some ideas. Now remember, we're all in different seasons of life, and what works for somebody might not work for you. So just keep that in mind, take in what you can, and understand that what works for somebody might not work for you. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Hit that like button, really help us out, and you know, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. But have an amazing day. I'm gonna clean up the mess that I have, and I will see you the next time. Bye.